Hello everybody and welcome back to day 50 of 100 days of code. We are halfway there everyone, and because we are 50% of the way for our 100 days of code, we're going to be starting an absolutely amazing project. And you can probably already tell by the web browser we have open right here, the application we have open right in our faces. Yes, we are recreating Instagram. We're going to be taking a few features out of Instagram, not every feature. We're going to be taking obviously the feeds, we're going to be taking off the we'll be taking the feeds, obviously adding a new photo. Oh, that's going to ask me from my computer because I ain't got my camera on. Activity, probably not so much, but again, the account as well, we're going to have accounts, so it's going to be user authentications and all sorts. We're going to be building this in the Phenom stack, or also known as the I can't even pronounce MEVN stack, the Mongo Express, vue.js, and Node stack. And we're gonna be starting today on the setting up the server and setting up probably maybe one few instance. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So let's get started. So let's move our browser over to the right side of the screen, and let's open up some things. Actually, saying that, before we start, you will need to install. History is not what we want. We want NodeJS. You will need to install NodeJS.org. Well, you need to go and install Node from nodejs.org. You can select either one of these versions. They'll be fine. They come with the Node package manager, what we'll be using to create, run, and call different functions from the terminal, and obviously manage our packages. So I've downloaded the 10.15.3. Just click this, it'll download an installer. You click the installer, you click through, and it sorts out, pretty much does itself. You just need to click download here. We'll be using Postman, Postman API, not Postman Pat. Postman basically allows us to make API requests to the to our data or to our server, so we can test if it's working and stuff. So because we're not going to have the Vue.js app up and running in one video, we're going to be doing this obviously over a couple of videos. We'll need something to test before we actually get the Vue.js, and I think you just go to products, Postman, and this should hopefully bring up a download. Yep, download the app. You just download it here. Again, it's very simple. Just download it and it should work. Other than that, that is all we'll be needing for this. We'll be trying to follow the design as best as possible. We'll probably might not use icons and stuff, but we'll get as close as possible to Instagram as we can, and we'll be doing image uploading, image handling, and all that too. And also authentication, which is going to be awesome. So let's get started. So first things first, we want to open up the terminal, and it's opened up on a different screen. So don't need it this wide, but I'm going to do it anyway. Oh. Okay, so we need a CD out of this, CD into our 100 days of code, and where are we here? So CD, or make the day 50, and now we can write in here Instagram clone. So enter, let's CD into day 50, and let's now create a new directory. So we're going to make it, we're going to call this the Insta clone. Let's CD into Insta clone. Oh. And now we're in Insta clone. Let's now run npm init. So this comes with the Node package manager. So when you install Node, you obviously get npm. And actually, I'm just going to show you my versions here. And you can see they're the version I'm using. So if you want to follow on exactly, you can install those exact versions. If not, I'm pretty sure it will work going forward anyway, what we're about to do. So let's write npm init. Oh, not night. Init. God, my typing is gone today. Package name instaclone is fine. Version, that's fine. And Instagram clone. We're going to call this server.js because we're going to be building a server basically from this side. Test command, we don't need one. Repository, don't need one. Keywords, author, you can put your own name here. I'm going to put mine and my email address. And this is going to be going under the MIT license. So let's click Yes, and let's clear this. So we have started up this. Now we have to install our dependencies. And to do that, we're going to say npm I. On the dependencies, we're going to install Express, JSON Web Tokens, because we'll be using this to authenticate, or JSON Web Token, Mongoose to interact with our MongoDB, our MongoDB database. Jeez, I didn't know what I was trying to say there. We're also going to be installing .env, which is going to help us access an .env file, and then also bcrypt, that's it, which will help us hash our passwords. And I believe that is it for now. Yes, that's all we're going to need for now. Let's install those. Okay, now they're installed. Let's now install some def dependencies, and the only one we need right now is NodeMon, but in the future we're going to also install concurrently, which will help us run both our Surfer and our front end application concurrently. Okay, now that's done. Now we can finally open up our text editor. I'm going to open up VS Code, which is my text editor of choice. Oh, there we go. Let's bring that up down here. And there we go. So in here we need to create for starters, our entry file, which is going to be, wow, SE apparently, because my computer is being a turd. Let's delete that and let's say surfer.js. Cool. So now inside surfer.js, we want to basically get our packages we've just installed. So we'll say const express is equal to require express. We're then going to say const app is equal to express, and that is it for now. Now we want to create a new folder and call this config, and inside the config we'll say index.js, and basically this is going to be our config file, and in here we're going to basically we're going to be using module.export is equal to an object, and this object is going to have all our stuff in. So first things first, our port, which is going to have either process.env .port or 3000. We're then going to say Mongo URI, which will be our URL for our Mongo database, .env.mongo_URI, or not HTTPS, MongoDB /127.0.0.1 :27017 / insta clone. And then I think we need a secret, and our secret is going to be process.env.secret or coding is cool. Yeah, that sounds good to me. And that's all we need to do for that file. So now we need to get that file. We're going to say config is equal to require, and we're going to say /config, and that is all we need to do. So hit save. And now let's get our server actually running. So we're going to say app.listen, and we're going to pass through our config.port. And then in here we're going to say, we'll just go console.log, and we're going to say server has started on port and $%s. So this is going to be a string variable we pass through, and we're just going to say config. That's nice. So config.port. Now, if we hit save and we open back up our terminal and we run npm, actually we can't do that just yet. Let's open up package.json, because to get this started we need to basically remove our scripts and create a new one called development. So this way we're going to actually run, or these are the scripts we can run, and I'm going to write in here nodemon surf.js. And what nodemon does is runs a node surfer, and every time you change the files, it will restart the node surfer, so you don't have to reload your stop and start your surfer every single time you make a change. So now back in our terminal, let's write in here npm run def, and this goes to our surfer, and as you can see, it says surfer has started on port 3000. We could actually probably run it surfer has started on, and then we could say local. For now, we're just going to hard code, but we'll say http // localhost :s. Now, if we hit save and we come back to our terminal, surfer has started on http localhost 3000. So there we go. That is nice. And that's very useful. Now we can actually go here. So we can say localhost 3000, but we're going to get an error. Cannot get / because we haven't set up our routes. And to do this, we basically need to. We could just write app.get and then /, but we don't need to do that. Obviously, this isn't an app where we can just get. We need to actually make post requests. So we're going to be setting up our. Straight away, we're going to be going into authentication. We're going to set up how to create users and how to log in using a user to return a JWT token. And we're going to need to basically connect to our database and stuff. But first, let's create a couple of files. We need a database.js inside our config file, because it's going to be our database config file. And in here, we're just going to say const mongoose is equal to require mongoose. We're then going to say const config is equal to require ./config. Oh, and that should be, or index in our case. And then we're going to say const db is equal to mongoose.connect. So we're going to connect to our database, and we're going to say config.mongo. Oh, we've added curly braces. URI. And it's going to say use new URL parser, and we'll set that equal to true. So now we've got this set up. We now need to say we need to actually catch this. So we'll say .then, and we'll say console.log, and I'm going to say connected to database. Oh, and then .catch in case we get an error. I'm going to pass through that error, and I'm going to say console.error, an error has occurred. Oh, that's nice, occurred. And then we're going to pass through the error too. And I'm then going to write module. Module.export or exports is equal to db. So we're going to export our database. Let's hit save. Let's go back to surfer. And let's actually, in here we can actually pass through to actually connect. We just need to say const db is equal to require /config/database. And now if we hit save and we go back to our console, as you can see, we've connected to our server and connected to our database. Again, we need to go over MongoDB quickly, because so we need to actually install MongoDB. It's already installed on my machine, that's why it's working. But for you guys, I used Homebrew MongoDB, and basically what this does is installed MongoDB and set it all up for me, so I didn't have to do anything. But you can install it however you want, but this is the way I would use it. Just run. First, you need to install Homebrew. And so how to install Homebrew on a Mac. If you're on a Mac, I'm not sure how you do it on a Windows. I'm not sure if I don't know if Homebrew's a thing on Windows. Actually, I think it is. But yeah, so you'll run brew, and then you follow all these guides down. Or yeah, so basically, actually, this is the perfect link. I'll put that into the description if I remember. Hopefully I do. If not, then comment below and I'll do it as quick as I can. Yeah, so once you install that on your machine, we're ready to go from here. So we're connected to our database. Now we need to actually set up some routes, right? We need to set up a way to connect to our app. And the first thing we'll do is go. Well, first thing we've got to add some middleware, and we need to add in app.use, and we're going to say express.url encoded, and then we're going to say extended true. And what this is saying is basically we can basically pass through form data. Basically, it helps us pass form data, and then we're also going to use express.json to be able to pass JSON data through our app. And then we're going to actually set up some cores here. So we're going to say const cores is equal to rec, so which stands for request, res, which stands for require, why can't I remember what S stands for? Result, I don't know. God, that's really bad of me. That's something I should always remember. So I know the first one's request, result, res, I don't know. It's because I always use rec and res now, so I never remember the full names, what they actually are. And all it means is returning to the surface. So this is basically like the result. Is what you're going to do. You use res to do, so request is the request which is made. Res is the result you're going to send. So you could do stuff like res.status and pass back a HTTP status, normally 200 or 404 or 500 for internal server error. But yeah, that's something we do. And we can also pass back headers. And we're going to basically say access control allow origin. So origin, and we're going to basically set this equal to an asterisk, which means all. Let's copy and paste that down, and we're going to change this bit to methods to be all, and also headers to be all. Now we can pass next, which basically will just say, so we're going to do all this, and then we're just going to move on to the next middleware or next thing. So under here, we're just going to say app.use, and we're going to say course, and that's basically going to allow us to connect two different, so from our app to our server much easier without having any issues. Normally you would set these up without everyone's access. You'd set up to have different access, and certain methods are allowed, certain headers are allowed, and certain origins are allowed. But for this, it's alright, we can use all of them. And now we're actually going to say app.use, and we're going to set roots. So we're going to say /user, and it's going to be our user router. And our user router is going to be, actually, let's do it down here. Let's say const user router is equal to require, and we're going to say /roots, which is going to be set, and then we're going to say user. So let's create that folder in here. Oh, not in there. Let's go in here. Now I'm going to write roots. Is it roots? What do I call it? Roots, yep. And then in here we're going to have a folder called user, and this is where all our user roots, controllers, and models are going to be kept. So in here I'm going to say index.js, and this is going to be our actual root, or like our actual little bit where we set up our roots. And for now we're going to say const router is equal to require express.router with capital R, and then we're going to say router dot post, and then we're going to put curly brace parentheses, and we're going to say login. And now we can actually create a controller with a login, well, control, and we're going to say const controller is equal to require /controller. And now we're going to say module.exports is equal to router. So I'm going to show you what this does once we've got it all set up. Now in here, we're basically going to create a model.js to start with, and this is going to be our user model, our MongoDB model for our user, or Mongoose model. And first things first, we need to require Mongoose, because we're going to set that up. We're then going to, what are we going to get? So we've got our Mongoose, then we're going to say, we need to create a schema, sorry. So we're going to say user schema is equal to mongoose.schema, and we pass an object in here, and it's going to have for name, which is also going to be an object, and it's going to say type of string, and it's then going to say required, which is going to be equal to true. I'm going to copy this a couple of times. Let me put a comma on there. 2, 3, 4. 4's about right. Maybe 5 actually, but it's alright for now. We're going to say surname. We're going to say password. Email, which all are the same. And then, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. We're then going to create a account created thing, and we're going to have a default to this, because this is basically just going to have now's date as a timestamp. So that's what we're passing through. We're going to get the date in a timestamp format, and we're going to store that as our default account created. Now we've created our model, let's create our controller. And I'm going to say, not kid, but yeah, controller.js. And this is going to have we're going to pull through our model so we can actually use our model. So we're going to say require /model, not model, and that is going to be fine. We're then going to say module.exports is equal to, and we're going to say login. So this is going to be our first route. And I'm going to say rest.status 200.send, and it's going to say message login success. So that's just what we're going to pass through there. And then we're going to set up a register, and we're going to say rec.res, and we're going to say rest.status, again 200 is for OK, and we're going to say .send, and we're going to send a message, and we're going to change this. We're going to change one to register successful, and we're going to change that to look successful because I think it makes more sense. And now that is ready to go. So if we go back to our index, we create another one and say register. I'm going to say register here. Let's hit save. Let's go back to our server so I can explain what we just did. So we used to use Express's router, and to use Express router, obviously, we use app.use, and then we give it a location. So we'll say, like, we could have here, it could be, for example, /API, and then you could put in your routes after there, like get users or do something else. But for us, we're going to use different separate ones, which user. And then we pass through the user route, which is obviously these 3 files in here. So we have the index, which is the route it actually calls, which says router is equal to an express router, and then it pulls for our controller, which then sets the route to login. So this basically here actually when you actually put this into a browser, it will be your host /user/login, because we prefixed it with user. And same for register, it'll be host /user/register. Now we've got that done, we can't really test that in a browser because we can't really make post requests that easily unless we set something up. So we are going to open Postman. So over here we're going to say Postman, and we're just going to hit enter and let that open up. Okay, now it's all open and set up. We don't need these routes over here. Let's just don't save. Let's just remove all. Oh my god, stop popping things up in my face. Just want to close some routes. Cool. So let's now create a new route, and it's going to be a post request, and we're going to say HTTP localhost 3000, and we're going to say user/login. Now, if we just send this, we're basically going to get back the, hopefully anyway, message login successful. That's good, so we know that works. It's just we're getting back the correct stuff. And now we can do register, and if we click send, we're going to get the register successful, which is awesome. Nice. We've got login and register all successfully working in our routes. Next up, we basically want to actually, when we register, we want to actually create a user right into our database. So let's drag this over, and well, let's open up this. Bring it forward because it's going to annoy me. Let's close our model. We don't actually need our model now. Wait, or do we? Did I do my model? Oh, we created a schema, guys, but we didn't actually finish this. So to finish our model off, we need to actually create a model, which is going to be the user model. And we're going to set that equal to mongoose.model. And now we give our model a name, which is going to be user. We're then going to pass through the user schema to actually set it up. And now we're going to say module.export is equal to user model. And that basically sets it up so we can actually import this correctly through our controller. So up here, we're going to actually bring through our controller, or our model, sorry, and we're going to say, wait, oh no, sorry, we already brought through our model, which is good. We're also going to bring through mongoose, so we're going to say, do we need mongoose actually? Because I think model will work. Let's see. So now, mongoose, oh no, model dot insert, not insert many, or dot save. Oh, no, sorry, I'm completely doing this backwards. So let's say, let new user equal, and then we're going to pass through a new model, which is going to contain a object, and in here it's going to say what we basically need for our model. So we need a for name, which can be anything. For now, we're going to say rec.body. So we get whatever we pass through our body, and we're going to say for name. We're then going to say surname, which is going to be equal to rec.body.surname. We're then going to have an email. Again, same thing, rec.body.email. So again, this is all the stuff which comes through the request. And then we're going to say, did we say email? We did. What is it? Password, which is going to be rec.body.password. Nice, so that is good. Now we've got that. Let's register successful user ID, which will pass back, just so we know it works. Okay, so we're going to pass user ID back, but first we need to go new user.save, and we can now get a error or a result back from this. And now we can say log result, or we can actually, I think we can get this back in a promise as well. So if we go .then, I think that should work. And now we can do .catch. So actually that should be that, right? Let's just see. And then .catch, which will be an error. And we could say error. Is that correct? So save the new user, then pass back the result. We don't need these parentheses for only passing one variable. And then, well, let's take this and just say, yeah, ID here, because we haven't actually got an ID yet. Or if this fails, we can pass through a, I don't know what the HTTP is, but I'm guessing it'll be something like 400 and something. We'll just say 500, I don't know. And then register unsuccessful, and then we won't pass through a user ID because it won't be necessary. Okay, So let's test if it errors first, because that's always the easiest one to test. Let's go in here, non-register, let's click send. Register unsuccessful. That's good because we didn't actually pass anything through. Let's now go to our headers and we want to add in here content type, and then in our file we're going to say application/JSON, which is good. Now we need to pass through a body, and we're going to pass through this raw, and in here we're going to say for name, and this is going to be Tyler. Surname, this can be Pot, and also I believe we have to, yeah, we have to enclose them, and then we can say email, which is going to be hello@tylerpots.co.uk, and now our password is going to be password or pass123. Really secure there, guys. And now if we click send, hey, we got passed back, register successful, we got passed back our ID. And our console logged our stuff is, so we got actually all this stuff, so we got the timestamp it was created and all our stuff. That's great, but we actually, for starters, we don't want the password to save as password123, and we want to return the ID, right? So first, let's return the ID. So in here, we're going to change this to be result._ID, because that'll pass back our user ID. And we actually need to, inside of our model, I forgot where, there it is, we actually need to get bcrypt. So now we need to say bcrypt is equal to require bcrypt. Oh, and now we can do a pre-statement. So user schema.pre, and then we can say save. So before we save, we're going to say function, or I think we could do an arrow function. We use function because I believe an arrow function has caused me issues in the past, but I don't know if that's true. We're going to say let user equal this, and now we can say if not you. Oh, hello. If not user dot is modified. So if the user password is not modified, we can return next, because that means, so basically if it's not modified, then we can return next. So this will basically say if it's new, it'll hash it, or if it's already been hashed before, then it doesn't need to be hashed again. Now we can say bcrypt dot, so we pulled through bcrypt. We can say get salt, and we can say 10. We can put any number. 10 is good. And now we're going to say function error and salt. We're then going to say if error return next error, and then we can say bcrypt dot hash, which is actually going to hash our password, if I can even type, and we're going to put in here the user dot password, and then we're going to pass through our salt, and then we're going to say function, not function, and we're going to say error or hash. If error return next again with error, so we're just going to pass the error. And now we're going to basically change the user password to be equal to the new hash, and we're going to return next. And that is all we need to do. So that is gonna that is basically gonna fix our issue. But now we need to set up a way to actually, once we've actually, oh, that's not correct. That should be use schema. Once we've actually saved it, we also need a way to compare our passwords again. So when we try to log in, so we actually want to say create a new user schema methods, and we're going to say compare password is equal to function, and we can say candidate password, and we're going to say callback, and we're going to basically go bcrypt dot compare. So we're going to compare the candidate password with this dot password, so the password passed through, and we're going to say function is equal to error or isMatch. So isMatch will return true if the passwords match, and we're going to say if error return return callback error, and then we're going to say callback null isMatch and hit save. So that should be everything we need to do for now. Okay, so let's go back to our controller, and in here we save a new one. I also want to log this result just so we can see what happens. So hit save. Let's go back. So now if we try and hit save again, as you can see, reg successful, and we got back our ID. So that works. Now let's go over here. And our password is still password123, but I believe if we go to the database, it should be different. So let's have a look. So over here, let's create a new one, and let's type in here Mongo. Now let's go show DBs, and we'll say use instaclone. Now we're going to say db.users.find. Oh, that's not. And there we go. We get our two different things. And our password is still pass123. I'm not sure why that's happening. Let's check out our code. So let's go back to our model, and we can say in here, so this the one, user schema.presave. Oh, maybe it's because we've put them above the model, and that doesn't all. I bet that doesn't work. Has our server restarted? It looks like it has. Let's try this again. So let's hit send, register successful again, and there you go. So that was the reason. So now on there, but as you can see, password has a hashed password, which means it's all hashed and it's secure in our database, or secure-ish. And I thought to note, we have actually created three things with the same email address, 3 accounts with the same email address, and we don't want that. So we want to, well, first let's remove everything from our database. So let's say db.users.remove, and we're just going to pass through the ID, I think. ID or underscore ID is equal to, and we'll pass through this object ID. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but we'll see. Hey, it did one, so let's pass through another object ID. Hey, there we go. So now we should be able to do find, and we get nothing. Good. That's always good. So back over here now, or back in our code, we're going to go to our model. Yes, our model, and where we see email, we're also going to add unique, or that's now you spell unique, which is going to be equal to true, which means this can only, it's required spell right there, yeah. This can only appear once. You can only have one of these in the database. So let's go back to our thing now. Let's hit register, and that should be successful. So yes, we're successful there. That's registered. But now let's hit send again, and this time it's unsuccessful. And if you read here, the error message says duplicate key error collection. So we've already got this hello@tylerpots.co.uk email address in our database, so we don't want you. So there you go. So that works. So that's good. We can see that working now, which is awesome. And our password is hashed. So now let's get up the login routes. So now if we go back, so we say http://localhost/user/login, and we pass through the same thing. So our header is going to be content-type, and we're going to set this equal to application/JSON, and in our body we're going to pass through our email address, which is going to be hello@tylerpots.co.uk, and our password, which is going to be equal to pass123. Let's hit, don't hit save, we don't need that. So that's ready to go. This isn't going to do anything, well, it's just going to run success. So let's go back to our controller here, where we have our login. And now we basically want to just say model dot, is it find? Do we do a dot find? Yeah, so find one, and we're going to pass through email, which is going to be equal to rec.body.email. So we're going to find the user and we're going to return him. So we're going to have an arrow function that says error user. And up here we're going to say if error throw error, just to get the error out of the way for now. And now we're going to say model dot, no, yes, no, we're going to say user dot compare password, and we're going to pass through our rec.body.password, and now we're going to have another arrow function that says error or is match, and then we're going to say if, again, error throw error, else we're going to basically return saying this is true. Console.log, and we're going to say, no, we're going to say if is match, we're going to say, where is our thing here? So we're going to get this, we're going to cut that off, bring that in here, and we're going to say rest.status 200.send message login successful, and we're going to pass the, actually we need to basically now use JWT. So let's go const JWT, which is our JSON web tokens, or token. We actually need to require that, sorry. JSON web token. And now we need to say jwt.sign. So let's actually do this first. Let's say let token equal jwt.sign, and then we can pass through a user, and then we can say process.env, or no, we need to actually bring through our config, don't we? So we'll say const config is equal to require dot slash config, and that is good. And now we can say config, oh hello, what, no, we need to basically pass through our secret, so we'll say config.secret, and then option, so we need to say time, something like time expire, expires in is the one, so we're going to say expires in, and we're going to pass through 86400, which means it expires in 24 hours. And we hit save, and then we also pass through here our token, and we can say token. I believe that should be, actually I believe we could just write token, because that will pull through the token anyway. And that should be good, I think. Just let me reread that. Oh, we need to also set up in case it doesn't match. We're going to say else, and we're going to grab this. Basically, we're going to pass through 500. I know that's not the correct error code, but it's what we're getting. We're going to say passwords did not match, and we're not going to pass the token through. Let's hit save, and now over in our app here, if we hit send, cannot get, oh, did I use get? Sorry, this needs to be a post request to user and login. So let's hit send, and we didn't get any response. I did rest.status, did it get an error before then? Yeah, it did. Payload to be a plain object. Wait, what? JWT sign. So we actually, when we went to sign, we've made an error somewhere. What have we done? JWT.sign user. It is user, right? Oh, do I need to put that in an object? Sorry, my bad. That just needs to be inside of an object. And it's probably best we actually only pass back our ID. So we're going to say ID is equal to user._ID. Hit save. And now let's go back here. Let's hit send again. Hopefully. And there we go. Login successful. And we get a token passed through. So we can use this token. So this would be the token we use to basically check if we're logged in every time we make a request to the database, which is awesome. Okay, so we've set up basically login, and now we should basically redirect ourselves to, we'd say redirect to an actual app, or if when we're in our actual Vue app, we'll redirect ourselves to, let's say, into this screen. So if I wasn't logged in, I don't actually know how I log out from here. So if I was not logged in, hello, where are you? Log out. Yes, log out. It would ask me to, okay, well, yeah, not title parts. There you go. So we'll be brought to this page, and then when we log in, it will then take us back to the other page, which is cool. And in the next video, guys, because this is all we've got time for, we're actually going to be setting up this Instagram login page, and then we're going to be connected it to our API to connect to our. We're going to basically create a login and a register page, so a sign up page, such as, oh, I'm not Tyler Potts, I'm someone else. Sign up. There we go. Oh, not mobile number. So we're going to be doing something like this to basically log us in and connect us up, and then once we register, we're then going to go over to login, and we're going to continuous time. We're going to log in, and then once we log in, we will be meted with a login screen. So I hope you learn how to basically create a basically login and register page with authentication. So this is all secure. Well, again, anything's hackable, but it's secure, more secure from being just plain text. And basically, that is the start. So we need our login routes first. So that's what I've done. In the second video, we're then going to create our vue.js application. We're going to run through all this setup, and then we're going to set up a login and register page and actually get it to authenticate us and take us to a different page. So thanks for watching, guys. If you did like this video, then leave a thumbs up. If you are excited for the next episode and you want to get it instantly, hit that subscribe button, and right next to the subscribe button should be a little bell icon. You can hit that so you don't miss a video when it goes live. Other than that, guys, if you have any comments, any feedback on this video, if there's anything you think we should have done differently, or anything you would have liked me to do differently, then let me know in the database. Oh my god, I just read database off the screen and said that. Let me know in the comments below, and we can sort that out. Else, you can also jump over to our Discord server. The link will be in the description, and we will greet you and say hello. You can meet new people. You can talk about your developer problems or anything like that. So join us over our Discord. And other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and peace out.